Hello, and thank you for being here with us. I will not tell your name. I will let you introduce yourself. What I will tell to everybody that's listening and which is involved with this channel is that you are a person that I really admire. And another thing is that all the persons that attend in one of your classes were not only satisfied, but very satisfied.
Oh, that's really nice.
So with this small introduction and with these small things in mind, please tell us who you are.
Okay. So first of all, Andrei, thank you very much for the invitation, for being here for the second time. This time we ran a BOPAT course here, and neurological rehabilitation course mainly for adults, and stroke rehabilitation, and also other kind of upper motor neurolesion patients, like Parkinson patients, like MS, brain injuries, all these brain-related problems. And I'm really very glad to be here for the second time. And I see what you say to the people, that many of them that really was expected by me, good stuff, good thing. And I felt, because this day was the first day, but it's very nice that you say so, that people are satisfied, really. So, my name is Adamidis Sakis. I come from Greece. I'm a physiotherapist since 1994. And, I mainly work in the private sector with patients, orthopedic patients, and also neurological patients. My main interest are patients with low back pain and spine pain, I would say, in general, because I'm a manual therapist since 2002. I finished the program in Greece that time, many years ago, almost 20 years, but don't say to the others. And yes, since then I just became, just follow in my career different disciplines in neurological rehabilitation, but also in orthopedic. Because I wouldn't really cut my heart in two pieces. Yeah, I really love these patients. Actually, I like to work with patients in general. And then in 2007, I just became the same year. I became a teacher in the Mulligan concept and also in the PNF concept. It was the same time, the same year. Yeah, it's 2 or 3 months difference. It was a great year because that time I was already running my PhD program in neurological rehabilitation as well. So it was a very hard time for me. And a few years later, I became also a BOPAT teacher. And since then, of course, I'm running courses internationally. So I've been teaching in more than 20 countries so far. Not only in Europe, but also in Asia and America. So this is makes me very happy, yes.
Do you think that you can make a distinction between Sakis the teacher and Sakis the clinician?
Yeah, I got this question many times. So I would say, if you ask me really honestly, I love to work more with patients than teaching. Although some people, they say the opposite, that maybe you're a better teacher than clinician. But I feel better as a clinician. Because even during my patient treatment, I talk to my patients and I behave them like participants in the courses, you know. So, and especially this time, because of the lockdown, I came back to my practice. And it was for many years to work full time. And all of a sudden I realized that I was staying in my practice from 9 in the morning till 11 in the night. And I have full patients, come on, it was strange for me. Because, you know, normally with my program, I just stay in my practice 10 days per month, that's all. And the rest because I'm traveling and teaching. But this time, it was really amazing and I enjoyed it a lot. So I can say, I mean, which is, yeah.
So you are a clinician that loves teaching both the patients and other colleagues around the world.
Yeah.
Do you ever get tired in working with patients and just being there for them?
Yeah, you know, our job is, it's a bit, psychologically too much loading, yes? Because we have to do with patients with, especially in the neurological field, with, a lot of impairments, in different impairments. which are cognition, perception, not just motoric. And people have different sometimes expectations, and sometimes they get high expectations which cannot fulfill during the treatment. So that gives you some stress. And also in orthopedic patients, we have the pain. That's very hard. Patients with pain are very stressful. So yes, but I wouldn't say that I get tired of that. I would say that through them I get more power. I don't know how has this happened, if I'm a work alcoholic or something, but I think that this is true. This is how I feel.
Even if you are an workaholic, I think that this is a positive addiction. It's not a bad addiction.
Oh yeah, definitely, yes.
In being there with the patient and for the patient. Yeah. Because myself, I'm also there for my patients, and sometimes the expectations are a little bit difficult to achieve, or they expect to put the problem to you.
Yes.
And
that's
okay, I came to you, fix me.
Yeah. That's very common.
And it's very interesting in trying to make them understand that the problem is never ours. Yeah. It's always theirs. We are here to guide them, to help them be better, to be their better selves, especially when we talk about neurological patients, because in most of the cases, we don't have a full rehabilitation. Yeah. And this is a little bit of a burden. Yeah, for us as therapists.
Definitely, it is.
Because they come for help. We offer help, but we don't offer a resolution.
Yeah,
to their problem.
This is true. The point here is that most of the patients, they don't really realize that the best way to treat themselves is to the self-care. They need to introduce the self-management. And I strongly believe, I'm one of the persons who strongly believe that the future of physiotherapy and rehabilitation might be the self-treatment. They come to us, we can give them some fixation or maybe some solutions, but finally, they have to treat themselves.
Exactly. They need to take care of themselves.
Definitely, yes.
Do you think that being a part of international organization and being up to date with the information, it's helpful for you or the patients?
Yes, it is, because the science all the time is progress, the evidence base all the time research new fields, and we've seen for all those who follow really the research, we've seen that the last years, especially the last years, we've seen that many times things are proven, and things that in the past which you believe that it was like that, now with the evidence comes exactly the opposite. Which is really amazing, yes. And this not only in orthopedic, but also in neurological rehabilitation. Yep. Yes.
Especially in neurology in general, they make huge progress in the last years.
Oh yeah.
The Harvard University started big projects in mapping the synapses and mapping the brain. They started the whole connectomics and a lot of science. Genetical and also very interesting projects.
Yes.
Where they try to understand a little bit better how the brain works, how everything develops, and how we can just be better in our lives.
Yep.
What drives you? What makes you wake up the next day and go again in the clinic and start working with the patient?
Yeah, I think that's what drives me. The challenge when I have a difficult patient. This is what I love now. Because the last years I became, I would say, the second opinion therapist. I'm not the person which is the first patient, first contact. So lately, most of the patients coming to me are coming from other colleagues. So who ask me to advise them and to give them some, not only in my city, but also in the whole country. So this is, that makes me to, to get some more energy and then to try to help them more and more. So the most complicated things attracts me more lately, I would say. Yes.
So you are more like, you like to resolve the puzzle, to understand the situation and to offer a solution.
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the facilitations, because the PNF, it's all about facilitating and facilitation.
By definition, yes. Yeah. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, yes. So I don't know what people believe about facilitation.
I don't know.
You don't know, eh? You don't know. Okay, yeah. So facilitation has a very easy definition, and it is like that. So facilitation means make it easier. So, for example, you have some difficulties in daily life, yes, and you have problems with, let's say, standing up, or maybe walking, or maybe using your arms, or other stuff, yes, dress on, dress out, and all this stuff. So this facilitation means particularly for the PNF, that we use the sensory stimulation. So we try to use all this available sensory stimulation in order to facilitate, through the facilitation, to get the right response from the brain. Yeah. Though this process, which happened through some handlings and some, I'd say, techniques, then tries to get out from the nervous system the responses. And these responses, we direct these responses in order to achieve activities. So to improve the activities, everyday living activity, the quality of life.
So you use the response that the body of the patient, the nervous system, the neurophysiological response that the body offers to a certain stimulation.
Yeah.
To get the best result for a specific activity.
Yeah.
To make it easier.
Yeah, sure. I can give you an example if you like now.
Yes, definitely.
Yes? Okay. I want you to raise your arm.
Doesn't matter which one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But let me connect you.
Yeah.
And now I want to straight connect to me, yes?
Yeah.
And try to resist. Try to maintain this position. I'm going to push you down.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. You're going to feel some rotation, yes?
Yeah.
Because I do it by purpose, because that's one of the stuff in the PNF. Okay, it will be much better for you if you just hold this wrist in this position.
Okay.
Because that stimulates better the chain. So stay there. This is not specific, but I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Try to resist. Okay. I give you a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Give a lot. And now try to do the same thing by looking your hand. Just look your hand, not me.
Okay.
And try to do the same. Honestly, tell me if you feel any difference.
There is different, because I'm there with my hand, so I connect with my limb a little bit more.
The vision makes you stronger.
Yeah.
And there is evidence for that. That as long as you hold it, you see
what's happening here.
Yeah, that's happening there, but you keep contact there.
Yeah.
That makes a better brain reaction. So this is something which many people who train the power, for example, they don't know. They practice and they just listen things and they don't be attentive to what they practice. If you're attentive and you look what you are practicing, you become stronger. Just a very simple example.
Yeah.
Because now what I did, I used the vision for that and to reinforce your power.
So the more senses you put in the equation, the better the facilitation.
This is true, but this is not the way we treat the patients. Because if you try to treat the patients, we try to use the less possible facilitation. Why? Because otherwise we provoke dependency on that, which is not good. Finally, we want the patients to be independent.
Okay, so being independent, it's being more functional.
Definitely, yes.
So through the facilitation, you try to promote a better function and to promote an independent patient.
Yes, because, the new model of the ICF, the International Classification of Functioning, it's not in this classification, we're not only interested about the impairments. We don't really interested only to make this arm stronger.
Yeah.
Or maybe better coordinate or the range of motion, which is very important, of course. But we strive for activities and we strive to link this with the quality of life.
What do you think? I think around 10 years ago, the Romanian government, because of some studies, they decided to take off the stroke patients from the impairment group. Because they said, look, the books says that stroke patient and with hemiplegia can recover in some instances.
They cannot or they can?
They can.
They can recover.
Yeah. So they took out all the stroke patients from the handicap list of the Romanian.
Oh, really?
Really, it was for around 5 years. This happened. Yeah, because they said, look, but there are some studies that show that you can recover and you can be functional again.
Okay, understand.
Okay, what do you think about this? Is it possible to recover 100% after a stroke?
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to say now what I believe, but what the research says, yes. And especially the study of the mechanism of recovery. So once you get the stroke, for example, and mostly the studies took place around ischemic strokes, which is the majority, of course, 90%. So they said that the recovery process, but now we have to distinguish one very basic thing, and thank you for bringing this to discussion, because it's good to separate these two things. It's different thing to say recovery, and it's different thing to say plasticity. These two are not the same. Recovery means, to make it simple for the people who are listening to us, that all the previous functions comes back. So if I like to move my fingers like that, then some certain parts of my brain are activating on the contralateral side mainly. Yes. So if I do this, these are activated. Not big area, small area. But if a stroke patient managed to do that, and that depends on the time, this is very important. Of course, also other factors, the age, the location of the damage, the size, many things. But the most important thing is that if the patient managed to do that within the first month, then it means that he has recovery. And recovery in the brain means that restoration of the neural damage, let's say, somehow, yes. But this doesn't mean that if the patient doesn't really get this within the first month, and you see something, not really this kind of movement, because this very specific movement, but you see some arm function, some movement, which can be developed later on. This can be developed as a plasticity. And plasticity means that other part of the brain, maybe in the ipsilateral side, doesn't matter where,
will take over.
Depends on the connection, take over. But a new place for a new function. That's a plasticity. It's a very big difference.
Why? Because we have astrocytes then that are, at least in theory, able to take the place of the neurons that are lost. Yeah, but they said that the place, it's so much obstructed with scar tissues that there is no place for the astrocytes to take over. That's a big area of damage. It's not just the one point thing. Exactly. Yes. So they takes also this connected tissue, the astrocytes, not just only the real body cells. So also the fibers and everything around. But what I say, I don't know why this Romanian government take this decision, because what we see in the clinical practice. But at one point they took it back. They took it back. But for a whole period of time, at least 5 years, we had this as a resolution from the government side, and all the people that were in work absence, and they were like in special pensions. They were taken out of the special pensions. But I have in my mind now an international study, which is published, I think, in what's the neuroscience medicine. And they said that in the year 2017, I'm not sure about the exact number, but it's more than 100 million, something like that. People who suffer from stroke, they just remain with problems on the impairment level. And therefore, some of them, they have also an activity level. Yes. So I don't really understand this decision. I mean, it's strange. It's something that it's independent from us and from our discussion.
It's policy.
It was just
maybe it's policy, political thing.
In a stroke patient, do we have an unlimited time to offer the chance for rehabilitation, or we have a time frame?
Yeah, that's a very, I would say, tricky question. Not from you, but I got this question many times in the courses. So I'd say, depends on the expectation you have. Because if your expectation is the recovery, then this time frame, yes. And what this has been investigated so far, as I said before, we have this for the infarct patients, and we know that less or more, 3 to 6 months are the time which this recovery stops. But from that, the plasticity takes place.
Okay, so we have time for adaptation afterwards.
So have time for adaptation. But some parts of this adaptation has been also investigated. For example, how much time we have, according to research, to change the gait patterns.
Mm-hmm.
For example, to move faster, with more adaptability, to just have a better
equilibrium and
not because
Not
equilibrium is more. It's more, I would say, to go to the impairments.
Mhm.
But I'm talking about how flexible we can do through the gait.
Okay,
To
the stride to be a little bit
maybe bigger stride, or
Mhm.
maybe to overcome obstacles, adapted to that.
Mhm.
And it has been written so far that it's 2 years, the frame. So within
Okay.
2 years, we have the option to change the gait.
Mhm.
But if you ask me, do you treat patients over than 2 years? Of course.
Mhm.
Of course I do. Because this brain has the possibility to learn, and this learning process is non-stop. Sometimes I'm just wondering how much space there is in such a big and small organ,
Yeah.
and can restore for the whole life. And I strongly believe that if I could live for 300 years,
Mhm.
we still could have possibilities to learn.
Oh,
So
to
there
learn.
is place for this organ to restore things. So I wouldn't say that in this case, in this way, there is time limited. But on the other hand, people who really believe on recovery, and they give, for example, kind of promises, don't worry, this arm gonna work like before, and so this is just in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that these people cannot be helped.
Mhm.
Yes, but we have to do it on the right way.
Yeah, exactly, to set up correct set of expectations at the end of the day.
Oh, definitely yes. So when you set a goal,
Mhm.
that goal should follow what is called the SMART.
Yeah.
All this businessman knows about that. Yeah? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time frame. Time frame is very important.
Mhm.
So when you set a goal, it's better to orientate the
In a
frame,
time
the,
frame.
the time. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you know where to start, when to stop.
Why should a physio participate to a PNF course?
So
If I'm mostly treating musculoskeletal problems
Yeah.
and low back pain because it's the most dominant
yeah.
problem. So why should I come to a PNF?
Mhm.
Is it something worthy or something worthy to invest my time in it?
Yeah. So I would say that the PNF is one of the most traditional concepts which exist in the rehabilitation, together with the BOVAT
Mhm.
and some others. They have a history of 70 years. And this has been developed all these 3 years. Yes. So in the beginning, we had different principles, but now the principles are all changed because new information comes from the science, new information from evidence-based. So I would say that from this perspective, we just update it each year. Yes. And people who are really working in the scientific committee from the IPNFA, which is the international body of this concept, they do a very good job on that. Okay, so we go straight to answer to your question. Through the PNF, you can have more efficient and effective treatment to the patient, and I would say more quick to the result. I would say that the PNF in relation to orthopedic rehabilitation take a big place on the motor control.
Yep.
So mainly the problems in orthopedic with the manual therapy, you have 3 directions. You have the articular and neural, and they have also the muscular. But with the PNF, you can give solution in each one. But motor control, I would say it's the best.
Mhm.
Why? Because first of all, uses something which other ideas they don't use. All these people have in the mind all these strange patterns which takes place because many physios have this experience. Remember in the school moving the arm up and down.
With the diagonals,
with
like
diagonals and so
diagonals and-
Cabot diagonals and so you have to know that in a clinical practice, if you see really a patient work in a PNF, they never do these patterns all.
No.
They just use a part
Really?
of the patterns. Yes, they just use only part of the patterns. But you can imagine how many stimulation you can give to the body by using these combinations in specific positions, yes, for all the body, and you can affect the whole body. And also you have the advantage with the PNF. You have some advantages which, for example, for facilitation, the strongest facilitation direction movement is the rotation. So if you try, for example, to get stability in the trunk and you give the rotator stimuli, then the effectiveness of the stability rises to 50% more. The shoulder, the hip, the knee. On the other hand, on the PNF, what is, I would say, something which is exclusive for the PNF? You can treat the patient indirectly. So many times I get fun with my patients because they have a headache, they have neck pain, they have a terrible neck pain. So you cannot touch, you can't do any technique, not even massage or trigger points, whatever. You let them lie in the bed, and then you deal with their legs. They say, hey, maybe you do it wrong. I have my head, my neck, here. not the feet. I say, okay, you're gonna feel it. Then start with work with the leg, and then you feel all the time irradiation. Irradiation is a very important part for the PNF. And through that, you can affect it. So if I can smoothly the movement, then I can go more directly to the neck. Yeah. So indirect treatment, irradiation, and also these rotation components and different techniques for different, and we have a big range of patients which you can use the PNF. All fields of the rehabilitation, you can treat it by the PNF. I feel that if I know PNF, I can treat every patient with a good result, even if I have no idea from the rest. Believe me, trust me on that. Yes, it's really fantastic. For me, it's number one.
I know it's the love of your life. You also did your PhD in this, no?
Yes. I did also my PhD.
It's also for
PNF.
Yeah, for PNF.
PNF and hip reconstruction. It was for people who got the operation.
Yeah. And prosthetics.
Yes, prosthetics. And during hospitalization.
Okay. Yes. So during the fourth day, or because they don't stay too much?
No, 5 days. The program was for 5 days. And then we compare with a conservative program, just exercising. And then compare these two. And then it was three groups. Yeah, it's many years ago, 15 years ago. So it was a PNF group, it was an exercise group, and it was a group which just followed the instructions by the hospital. Yep. And comparing this, and we had some difficulties there, and I'd like to say something, that I have a big difficulty to write the methodology about the PNF, And this is something which is, because sometimes you read the articles and the reviews about the concepts like bobot, like PNF, and you don't see very supporting from the research. And I have a very good reason for that. Why is this happen?
Because it's a little bit subjective, how you apply it.
Yes, this is the first. The second is that when you treat the patient with a PNF, you don't pre-plan what you're going to do. There are no techniques you have to pre-plan. And you're going to do this, and then second this, then third this. Because when you treat the patient drives you what you're going to use, because you get the response. So it's something which is a very strong interactive all the time.
Okay, so you cannot write a recipe?
No, not really. Especially with these two concepts. No, you can't. Because the patient drives you. You have so many techniques, so many options, so many ways. The patient never get boring. You never get boring. You can treat the same problem with different ways from different parts of the body. It's amazing. For me, it's amazing. And people really love it. That's why we say with the PNF, it's not the proprioceptive blah, 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 but it's patient need fun. And we treat it with fun. But it's a very intensive treatment. I have to say it's very intensive treatment for the patient, but they enjoyed it. Yeah.
Because they can see the results afterwards.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely yes. And they enjoy it. And they can get very nice ideas about the self-management again.
Perfect.
Yes.
So
they can use therapies for that. Yeah, they can do it by themselves. They can do in a closed chain. We have also mat activities. We have gait analysis during the course. We treat patients with gait problems. We treat patients with, I'd say, problems with the face, problems with the head, problems with the jaw, problems with every kind of patient, and every kind of problem can be treated by the PNF. It's amazing how I managed to do that. Yes.
Okay, so
but this is the idea. You can mobilize the joints, not just with a manual therapy way, but with a PNF. You can really mobilize them in a good manner. So it's something which fits to everything. This is my opinion, of course. But
of course,
people have to come to see otherwise.
With this, we invite everybody that wants to discover the new modalities of introducing the facilitations. The patient need fun in their lives, and with this, I really thank you for your time here, and for I really appreciate your dedication to being a physio.
Okay. So really, I'm feel really very happy and proud to be here and to deal with Romanian colleagues, because what I see is very clever, and they want to know. And what I see so far, because I don't have, I did just one course, but what I see that they practice and they're thirsty for knowledge, and this is very good. And especially when I see young people, it's the best way. Yeah. Thank you also very much for the invitation of being here to give me this opportunity to discuss about the PNF with your wonderful organization, because I have to say that you have a wonderful organization.
Thank
you very much for having me.
Thank you.